Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and we'd like to call to order the meeting of the Rutherford County Risk Management Committee. And I hope you've had an opportunity to read the minutes of the last meeting. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion, do we have a second? Second. All right, Ms. Allen. Did anyone have any corrections or additions? If not, everyone in favor, then please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I guess it would be in order. Dr. Anthony, is this your first meeting with us here? So welcome aboard, and we're happy to see you're with us. And have you already had some orientation for her yet, Jeff, or not?
We haven't had much time.
Okay. Well, you can come along with us. We learn something every time we meet. So, okay. Let's see, Ms. Street. I guess the first thing on our agenda is the financial reports.
All right, we'll begin with Fund 264 if you refer to your report package that you have. In the month of July, we ended with revenue at $1,385,666 with expenses at $6,005,346. The variance by month was $4.6 million to the negative, which is common for this time of year because of how we collect premiums over the summer from the Board of Education. So we're accustomed to seeing our revenue down and our expenses up during this month. Proceeding to page 2, if you look at revenue for prior period year-to-date, in a calendar period comparison, we're at $37,482,556 compared to current year of $40,289,308. Within our expenses, our prior period year-to-date was $39,111,464 compared to prior year of $39,131,465. From a fiscal period perspective year-to-date, revenue of prior period for the month of July was $1,694,167 compared to current revenue in July of $1,385,666, with expenses again coming in prior period of $6,242,342 compared to prior year $6,005,346. If you'll look at the third page of the report, I want to point you out to our fiscal year comparison. If you'll look at the first yellow column there, just since we didn't meet and haven't provided you with the June report, I want to show you this. Our revenues for the fiscal year ended at $65,283,928. And our expenditures ended up at $67,015,595 for a deficit of $1.7 million. If you recall, back in December, we were looking at a $6 million deficit, so we were able to recover some of that through claims lowering over the next 6 months, which is what we anticipated to happen. And I just wanted to provide that to you since we had not met in the month of June. Now, from a calendar year perspective, if you have interest in looking at that for 2017, you can see that on the second purple line at the top of the page, our current revenues from a calendar year to basis, which is what we review when we're setting premiums, is $40,289,307 compared to expenditures of $39,131,464 for a positive variance of $1,157,843. Within Fund 2, is there any questions on that before I go to Fund 266? Okay. So in your next report, you'll see Fund 266, and in the month of July, we ended at $180,403 compared to prior year of $22,764. And the majority of that increase represents one particular claim that we had that has turned out to be a high dollar claim, so that's why you're seeing that jump there. And related to that claim, we've taken safety measures to prevent those type of incidences in the future as best that we can. So I wanted to provide that information to you. There's a third page to the financial report this year, or this month. It's called Comparison of Projected Ultimate Losses. So annually, it's at the very back of your packet, I believe. So you just need to pull that forward. So annually, we will hire select actuarial services to review our on-the-job injury program and compare it to what our program would look like had we remained in traditional workers' compensation. If you look at it, you can see that for the period of July 2016 through June 2017, from prior report, projected losses was $467,000. And for this current fiscal year, projected losses are $577,000. Had we remained in a traditional workers' compensation arrangement, losses for last year would have been $2,143,000, and in the current fiscal year, we would have been at $2,350,000.
Are there any questions for Mrs. Street on any of these financial reports?
One thing I would like to say as it relates to the on-the-job injury program is that we are seeing a great improvement in the various departments, in schools, in terms of reporting timely, reaching out, trying to partner with us to make sure that they're presenting information to us in the way that we need it, as quickly as it needs to be. And we appreciate that partnership with all the Board of Education members and the county general members, because it does make a difference. Ultimately, our goal is to take care of our employees in their time of need, and the information fed to us timely is a significant factor in that. So thank you all for that.
Okay, any questions? Oh, Ms. Stevenson.
I just wanted you, in case somebody was hearing that number for the workers' comp, I didn't want somebody to think that we were not approving benefits that workers' comp would have. It's just that it's a fee, so I wanted you to clarify that so that people wouldn't think that we were denying benefits that otherwise would have been earned under workers' comp, that that's just a rolling fee.
So it's based on claims costs and fees incurred. And under the OGI program, what I like about it the most is that it allows us to work in more closely with the employee in more of a case management environment. 7 years ago, and I know I say this a lot, but that's always my jumping off point, when I came on, that's one of the things that was the feedback about the OGI program, is that it wasn't very personable. The employee didn't feel like that they were getting taken care of. They didn't feel like that we really cared about their situation, and that wasn't the case. And we made some modifications to things that we do in order to respond better to our employees. As an example, someone has an incident, we always pay first visit regardless if the claim is approved or not. It's not fair to the employee to wonder whether or not this claim is going to be paid if they're injured. We need to allow that time for the paperwork to come in, so we always do absorb the expenses of that first claim. And so right now, rarely do we ever get negative feedback. Now, I will have a voicemail when I get back to my office because I've said that, but generally we don't. And I think it has a lot to do with the way that the departments and the Board of Education is working with us. It's been several years now. People understand the program, but we always do look for the best panel providers. So to Ms. Stevenson's point, our panel providers play a big part in controlling the cost. So they are looking at a return to work situation where they are providing necessary treatment that is medically indicated in a timely fashion, so the employee has the best outcome and is able to return back to work as quickly as they can.
Mr. Sandvig.
The cost numbers do include the cost of the long-term
That's correct. So
disability insurance, which
yes,
is available to all of our employees now.
that's correct. So one of the benefits to employees whenever we rolled out this program was we also enrolled every benefit eligible employee in a long-term disability product. So we cover the first 6 months at 66 2/3%, and then they will roll to long-term disability as long as they are deemed appropriate for it, and that product is through Cigna. The other thing that we've done is we've reviewed the plan. Used to be the plan was 1 year, so it's 1 year from date of loss. Where one of the complaints that came in about the plan was if someone had a delay in getting treatment, perhaps they had a shoulder injury as an example, and they needed the inflammation to go down before the surgery could take place. Well, they could lose several months' time waiting for them to become medically appropriate for surgery. So now we've modified the language to be 1 year as one of the conditions. There's multiple that can close the claim, but it's 1 year from the date of surgery. So there are variable factors like that that have affected it, and our claim counts are down, which means that people are listening to the advice and being more conscientious about what they're doing at work and taking appropriate measures and the appropriate PPE.
Any other comments or questions? Do we need any action on this? We don't
No, sir, we
think.
don't.
Okay.
Of course,
if-
Mr. Good is a big part of the success, too. I said, of course, Mr. Good's a big part of the success of the program as well, so.
Okay, Mr. Good, tell us about, well, what we've just been talking about, workers' comp and OGI statistics, I suppose.
Good afternoon. In the month of July, we had a total of 8 injuries that required medical attention. On your report there, you can see how it breaks down, with the majority being for slip, trips, and falls and struck or injured by. That brings the total for the year to 113, and the top 3 injuries, as you can see there, again, are slip, trips, and falls, struck or injured by, and strains are concentrated points that we need to work on. As far as OSHA is concerned, for the year we've had a total of 74 injuries requiring reporting under OSHA. 30 of those are restricted days, 17 lost days, and 27 all others. On the next page of your report, you'll see where we compare this year to the 2 previous years, and right now we're just up slightly from where we were this time last year. The next page, you'll notice that the report for the incurred dollars. We do have one spike for the one injury that was alluded to earlier, and that's that spike that you see in May. It's basically attributed to one injury. The incurred dollars for the month of July was $16,551. The Board of Education had 3 injuries, and they were $8,832. The County General had 4, and the incurred dollars there were $7,418. And the Highway Department had 1 injury, and at the time of the report, there were no incurred dollars reported at that time. On the last page of your report, we've broken down the injuries for the County General. You'll see that the 4 injuries were divided between the Juvenile Detention Center, Sheriff's Office, and the Correctional Work Center.
And that's your report, Mr. Good?
Yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions? You're going to work yourself out of a job, aren't you?
I don't think that'll ever happen, but I wish it would.
Well, it's stable and it's improved over years. That's really good.
Yes, sir, it has. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, is Mr. Puckett with us to tell us about wellness?
Yes, he is. I like to.
Yes, he is.
I'm going to bring somebody else up with him today. When we renewed our contract with Cigna effective 7/1, in that contract was an additional allotment for an on-site wellness coordinator. And I'd like to introduce Chuck Chappa to the team. Chuck, if you want to just give a quick overview about what you've done in the wellness arena and introduce yourself, that would be helpful.
Excellent. As Director Street stated, my name is Chuck Chappa. I have a background in health and wellness. I'm also a 6-year Army veteran with the 2nd Infantry Division, so I'd like to be able to bring that experience and knowledge base into Rutherford County and improve their wellness program. Thank you.
Chuck.
So Chuck, are you on premises here every day with us?
Sir, I'm a risk management, the 2nd floor.
At which mansion?
He sits in our office along with Mr. Puckett.
Oh, he's in your mansion, is that what he said?
Yes.
Okay. Heard from it, but glad you're there. All right, Mr. Puckett?
He actually said risk management, but I like the word mansion better, yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Hope everybody had a wonderful summer. For us, the wellness program is kicking back up. The Know Your Numbers campaign is in full effect. You can see here the attendance is, we had 3,240 biometric screenings done to this point, 2,226 online health assessments, 427 biometric screenings completed in the month of June, 728 biometric screenings in July. Year to date, we're at 1,977. In comparison to last year, last year was 1,738, so we're making progress year by year. It's slow, but it's process. We're moving the needle in the right direction. I think that's because we have a great wellness team and we're out promoting the services. For the coaching, the MedPoint clinics for June, we had 60 total visits. That's between both the dietitian and the wellness coordinator. July, we had 48 visits. In the last week, I believe it was July 25th, 26th, we went to the DI conference for the school system, where we had an opportunity to meet, promote. We had a Drink This, Not That game, muscle and fat display. It was well received by the teachers there. We scheduled 51 biometric screenings, which was exciting. And next year, our plan is to hopefully, if all goes to plan, is to offer biometric screenings at the DI conference. There was a big need for that, so hopefully we can make that happen for next year. Also, we had 6 HRA completions. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but it does take time to sit down as they're walking through the vendor fair. You know, it takes about 30 minutes or so, give or take, depending on how good you are with the computer to complete that. Upcoming events, we have a lot going on. I know you only see 2 things here because most of our stuff starts to take place in October, and I'll touch on more of that next month. We did start our Wellness on Wheels campaign this week. That is where we go to every school in the county. We set up for about 2 hours, talk to people, the teachers, about the biometric screening, online health assessment, complete the online health assessment if they would like that, and then confirm that they've done everything they need to do, and then also assist with any questions they may have around the wellness program and the wellness requirements. I will have some numbers as far as the teachers that visit us for that next month. As always, we have the Life Services EAP webinar. This month's topic is saying goodbye, honoring the process of grief and loss, and you can do that at lifeserviceseap.com. Remember, the username is Rutherford and the password is employee. And just a few quick things again that I'll touch on next month. October 13th, please mark that in your calendar. That is our Rutherford County Employee Wellness Fair. That is over at Rutherford County Extension. We hope you all can attend that. It's from 3 to 7. I'll have more details again on that next month. We're going to have a lot of fun activities, a lot of giveaways, things of that nature. We'll also be doing flu shots there as well. The MedPoint Clinic will be doing flu shots, and then we'll also be offering those flu shots starting in October at all the MedPoint clinics, with the exception of, I believe it's Stewart's Creek and Blackman, right, that are doing it? Correct, okay. And the last thing is our Q4 programming that will start in October as well. It's our Touch Around the True Wellness program. It is a big one that we do. A lot of people enjoy that. It's a lot of scavenger hunt type things, T-boating activities. So a lot's in the pipeline. This is kind of busy time for us, so we're excited to get rolling. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Puckett or Ms. Street? Do you want to add anything else to where we are with these biometric screenings, et cetera?
I'd like to call Ms. McNair up. Shannon is our health center manager, and she could probably give a better overview of what she is seeing inside of the clinics compared to prior years. We had hoped that with some of our incentives that we've provided, if you recall, we gave away iPads to incentivize early participation in getting the iPads completed, and some other nice gifts throughout the year, trying to get people to take care of this before school began back in August. You can see from the numbers that our biometrics are not up as much as we would hope for, given the process that we took to incentivize people to come in earlier. As Mr. Puckett said, year-to-date we're at 1977, and year-to-date we're at 1738 for prior year. So maybe you could just share for a minute, Shannon, what you're seeing in the clinic in terms of the employees' level of understanding of the program and things like that. That would be helpful.
Sure, thank you. So as Ms. Street said, we would like to see a little bit more participation. On Saturdays, we have walk-in hours at our Blackman and Walter Hill clinics, 7 to 11, no appointment needed, just walk in. Right now, we're seeing anywhere from 40 to 50 people utilizing that per day. The last Saturday before the deadline is September 30th, so, we're planning several hundred to come through that day, but we could use y'all's help encouraging your teams to come on in. Right now, you're not having to wait. We get you in and out. It's 10 to 15 minutes. We're hearing a lot of patients say, that's it. That's all it is. That's all I need to do. So please encourage them to come in, utilize our walk-in services on Saturday, now in August, and the beginning of September, because come the end of September, it's going to be hour to 2 hour wait. We're going to have 200-300 people in the clinic trying to get these biometrics completed. Also in September, starting September, the first Tuesday in September, we're going to start opening the clinics. Blackman on Tuesday, starting at 6 a.m., 6 to 7:30 will be walk-in biometrics. Wednesday, 6 to 7:30 at our Stewart's Creek Clinic, and on Thursday, 6 to 7:30 at Walter Hill. And again, those are walk-in hours, another great opportunity to encourage your team members to come in and get that done to decrease their wait time in the long run. If y'all have any suggestions, please reach out to either Mr. Puckett, Mr. Chapa, or myself on any marketing ideas, maybe how we can let them know what we're offering. If there's anything we're missing the mark on, please feel free to reach out to us.
And Ms. Street, can you re-emphasize what she's saying by working with the school board in particular and get information out to every single person on these dates and times that she just mentioned, please?
So one of the things that the school board does is they will do telephonic outbound messaging to all of their employees. And can you remind me when the first message is? It goes out on Monday. So all school board employees will receive, in conjunction with some of the information the Board of Ed will share, reminders about the biometric screening and HRA. We also send out the newsletters. We have sent multiple mailers out in terms of electronically. And we just want to make, we can only reach so far, and we're really dependent upon those employees in the room as well as other leaders in the county to make sure their employees are aware and that they are taking care of this if they want to participate.
Just a suggestion, and some of you guys may already be doing this, or you may see this in your place of employment where you're at. If you can print out the communications that you guys receive from Mr. Puckett and Mr. Chapa, post it in common areas, maybe the break room or wherever meeting place is, just so that they're aware. I know a lot of people get bombarded with emails, and so sometimes it gets overlooked, but if you post it where they're looking at it, they see it, they have to read it, that's going to help make them more aware as well.
And when do we send out the annual packet?
So you're talking about the annual enrollment period.
Annual enrollment.
Going to be next on my list.
Oh, that's on the agenda. I'm ahead of it?
Well, I was just going to mention it.
Oh, okay.
So this is the biometric part, and that ends on 9/30. And then beginning in October, we will roll into our annual enrollment process. And we typically drop the packets into the mailboxes of employees during fall break intentionally because the Board of Education is closed except for central office, so that people receive that while they are off work. Annual enrollment is the 16th through the 30th at noon. We'll do a save the date postcard to let them know it's coming. We'll do the mailer to the home. We'll do several electronic informational pieces out regarding annual enrollment, and we'll do our video and PowerPoint presentation as well as we have in the past.
And we didn't have a whole lot of trouble with this last year, but some of you that were closely involved know that we had a few people that were, in spite of all our best intentions and everything that every one of you did, claimed they didn't get this information. And somehow, I don't know if the system spammed out stuff or not, but if that was a small risk, please, everybody, do what you can to prevent this stuff from being spammed out of the mail that they're receiving. It was alleged, we don't know, but it was
So the issue was about Clutter Mail, and what happened was we communicate that information previously through Ms. Barnes. Ms. Barnes would forward it out. If there was a pattern of behavior with an employee where they would delete Ms. Barnes' emails without opening them up and reading them, then it would automatically move them to the clutter box. And weekly, you will get an email from Microsoft that says these are in your clutter box. Are they important? And it would have shown that there were missing emails from Ms. Barnes out there as well. Nonetheless, that was the issue that the employees had. They had received it. It's just that because of past behaviors, it got put into a different box other than their inbox. And it's my understanding that the Board of Education has stopped the clutter box process as a result of that. Is that right? So whenever we send them out, they should get yours and everything should be
That won't be a valid excuse
fantastic
anymore,
this
right?
year. No.
Well, that's good, because we had a few people really, really concerned about this, and it was a difficult time for everyone, really. All right. Anything else there? But that's a good report, and appreciate you opening up all these additional opportunities for people to come. It's just like getting your car tested for emissions. I've had a few complaints. It's just backed up. I can't get in there. Well, from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, you can just ride right in there without even stopping. So you got to figure out when the openings are and take advantage of them. Wait till after work, not at lunchtime. So take advantage of these before work times that she's identified there. All right, thank you very much. Dependent audit, Mrs. Street.
It's been some time ago that I had brought to the committee for approval for us to do an actual dependent audit where we will go in and specifically focus on the spousal portion of the eligibility criteria. We are going to release a legal notice and proceed with accepting bids on the dependent audit. I just wanted to bring this up to the committee, and because there's been changes within the committee since we talked about this, because it's been some time ago, I would like to ask for the committee to consider the dependent audit and make a motion for that to allow so it can be reflected in our documents again.
So do we do this every year? Has it been a few years? Or?
Oh, it's been since 2010 since we've done a dependent audit. And at that time, we did everyone. If you were a dependent, which is spouse or child on the insurance, then you had to submit documentation. Since then, under ACA, the rules have changed regarding children to allow them to age 26, whether they're a full-time student or not, because there used to be multiple criteria that we would have to check. And because of that, we will verify their status of a child at the time they are initially enrolled. And we, from a medical insurance perspective, will allow them to stay on to age 26. So we're handling that aspect of it internally, but the working spouse provision is more difficult for us to manage internally, and so we'd like to go in, and we've been using the honor system, and when we wrote it out, we said we would eventually do an audit, and so now we would just like to release the bid to formally have that process.
So, okay, and how much did this cost us last time?
Last time it cost us, I want to say it was over $100,000 for us to have that process done, but we, through the removal of ineligibles that had not been properly reported, if I recall, it was a claim savings of over $300,000. So the ROI was very good on that audit. We just want to make sure that, those who are eligible are on the insurance and those who aren't are properly notified and have an opportunity to seek proper insurance coverage for them.
Okay, so when would you release this RFP if they?
We will actually release the RFP on, is it the 12th, Kelly, is that right? Yeah, on September the 12th, and it will be a 2-week time frame, and we will have our purchasing committee, and we will be back next month with finalist presentations for you all.
Okay, do you have questions about what she's suggesting? And Mrs. Allen?
What's the time frame of when you think the audit would actually happen?
So we probably wouldn't do that until after annual enrollment occurs and after January. So it would probably be in the February timeframe where we would begin the audit process
I'll make a motion that we approve and proceed with the audit process.
We have a second, Mr. Sandvig. Other discussion or questions? Yes, sir?
How do they do the audit? How's it work?
Yeah, so typically the way that it works is we will provide them an enrollment list of who all is enrolled on the insurance plan. And anyone who has a spouse enrolled, they will send out documents to those individuals stating that because they have a spouse enrolled on the insurance, we haven't received what the vendor's processes is, but typically it would be an affidavit that would be notarized that would say that the spouse does not work, or if they are employed, then at that point they would have to provide a letter from their employer indicating whether or not they have medical insurance available through them, and we would most likely request a copy of last year's tax return to show verification of employment status of the employee as well. That's generally the process that they follow, and that's consistent with what they do on dependents, even as children. Part of the process is tax returns, birth certificates, things like that.
Any other questions or comments? So all of you are in favor of us issuing this RFP for a dependent audit to be taken, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Let it reflect that Ms. Christie Crowell is opposed. All right, it did pass, and we will do that and report back to you when we get the results from the RFPs. Retiree premiums, Mrs. Street, you may address that now, please.
One thing I need to bring to the committee is a technical correction. When you all received this packet during discussions back in March, I believe it was, about the rate proposals for 2018, there was an error in it made by Willis where, as you know, our active employee rates are mirrored in our pre-65 rates. So therefore, whenever we go in and we passed option 2 for actives, that also passed for our pre-65s. Well, in the documentation that they provided, there was a premium number issue where they had not properly copied over the active rates to the pre-65 field. And the numbers were actually incorrect all the way across the board. So we need to bring this to the committee's attention so that we can make that technical adjustment. When it was passed, the rate increase was passed consistent with the active rates, and we'll proceed with that. It really has no change to what was intended back in March, but it is important that we bring forth that this error was made in the packet, make you aware, and provide you with a corrected sheet in terms of what the rates will look like on retiree premiums. And I would ask that the committee, for documentation purposes, accept this technical adjustment so that we can proceed with completion of our annual enrollment package development.
Okay. So, Mr. Sandvig? Okay, and a second, Ms. Allen. Yes, it was just a mistake, and those numbers, we didn't change the policy at all. The numbers that they computed just didn't reflect properly the calculation that should have been put forth there. So, anybody else have a question? All of you in favor of accepting this technical adjustment, you might say to the incorrect previous information, please say aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you.
There's another, it's an administrative change. It doesn't require a vote, but I want to make you all aware of it. Currently, we have 33 retirees that pay by check. It creates, obviously, control issues because we're accepting the checks into the office. We can't accept cash. If they want to pay by cash, they have to go to finance. But the biggest thing that it does is they're not always timely in their payments. A majority are, but there are some that are not. And in order for us to maintain the integrity of the program, we are going to, beginning January 1st, 2018, require that retirees pay by bank draft, which majority of ours does. We'll be sending letters to the 33 that are not, and giving them opportunity to sign off on the authorization and to send it in so that we can begin that process.
Okay, so that's just a heads up. It's sort of like when we started putting everybody's payroll check directly into the bank. A few people didn't even have checking accounts in, but it finally did work its path out. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Crowell.
What is your plan for the senior citizens and retirees who do not have checking accounts?
So it's my understanding that TCRS does automatic deposits. So in order for them to be a TCRS retiree, they're going to have a check account. Yeah. And if they need help, if they don't by chance, then certainly we have a lot of banking partners that through human resources that we could refer them to that would help them.
Okay, so that's just a point of information there. Okay, so we are moving right along here. Know Your Numbers campaign.
So I've provided you with insurance rates that you'll see. This is 2018 Rutherford County insurance rates, monthly premium. So last meeting, we talked about the active versus passive enrollment. And this is our 5th year doing the Know Your Numbers campaign. And if we look for an area where we continually receive feedback of points of frustration for the employees, it is the way in which we charge the fee. And if you recall, whenever this program was introduced back in 2013, I had made the recommendation that we lift the premium table to reflect the $25 a month for county general, $30 per month for Board of Ed employees, and those who completed it would get the reduced premiums, which is the way most employers do it. At the time, we were taking a significant rate increase, and it was felt by the committee that we needed to separate those two items, and therefore the wellness fee was born. Next year or two, I came back, I asked again, and we felt like that due to the curve of our employees in terms of acclimating to new processes and procedures, that it may be best left alone because we had such a high participation rate. Well, we've continued to blow through the national average on participation rates in our program because we continually excel above 90% in completion rate of the program. So that we can ease the concerns of the employees, I am asking the committee to allow us to raise the already passed premiums by $25 for county general, airport authority, all the other ones, and $30 for Board of Education. Those who complete the program will receive a premium discount in that amount, depending on which division they're in. And those who don't will pay the premiums that they'll see in the system during annual enrollment. At the end of the day, it's all the same. The money's still there. Those that want to participate will, and those that don't, won't. But it's just how does it feel to employees? And so that would ease some of the grievances that we receive about the program if you all would make that consideration for the program and allow us to increase the premiums.
Okay, so what's the wishes of the board? What's your thoughts on this? Mr. Sandvig and Ms. Allen are reaching for their mics.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's always better to offer a carrot than a stick, and so I can absolutely see why raising on the front end and then giving the discount is a much better way to proceed.
And now that we had such a large increase earlier, I was not comfortable with it. I am very comfortable with it at this point and am willing to make a motion if everyone's ready for one.
Second, Ms. Allen. Ms. Crowell, what's your thoughts?
Much prefer a rate reduction to a fine at the end for not participation.
So you like this approach a little bit better?
Oh, yes, and so will my members.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Anyone else have a comment? Okay, then, we're ready to vote. All of you in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you. Well, we've come down to the last item. Any other business? Anyone have anything they'd like to bring up that needs to be discussed? And we will have a meeting in September?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't know, what's the date? Do you even know? It's the last Thursday, not the...
28th.
28th?
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Any other discussion anyone wants to bring forward? If not, then thank you very much. We do appreciate it. We are adjourned.